We send emails, we read our news online, and we use a tablet to hold all our books. Simply put, we don't use as much paper as we used to, and that's bad news for the forestry industry and for leading forestry states like Mississippi. So what can you do? Well, you have to adapt and think outside the box to remain profitable. And as you're about to see, one organization has turned to innovation to be competitive both here and abroad. Mississippi is better known for producing cotton, catfish, and sweet potatoes, but it's also one of the leading producers in another agricultural industry, forests. Across Mississippi, some 350,000 private landowners control approximately 75% of all the forest area in the state, which contributed more than $1 billion to the state's economy in 2015. A majority of these private owners sell their wood to companies like Weyerhaeuser. Controlling more than 26 million acres of forest land around the world, the company thins the timber to retain high-value trees for use as dimensional lumber and plywood. The remaining majority of the smaller, lower-value trees are used to make pulp and paper products. However, over the past 2 decades, a decline in print and paper use has taken its toll on the forest industry.
We've seen a decline in the southern United States in the pulp and paper industry in the last few years. And as those mills have gone out, we've lost some markets that we really need to be able to keep our forests growing at a sustainable level.
5 southern states, including Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and South Carolina, produce over 50% of the nation's wood used for pulp and paper production. The pellet industry took root as sellers looked to find a new industry and unload lower-grade timber, all while ensuring forests would be preserved.
So that's what the pellet mills have allowed for us. As they've come in, they've helped us create some new markets for that pulpwood, and that's why we're thinning this stand right now, and we're able to take it to a pellet facility.
One company has been instrumental in making sure these lower-grade wood thinnings have had a marketplace since the decline in consumption of pulp and paper. Drax Group plc was originally built in the United Kingdom to provide energy via coal, but soon found that wasn't the answer.
Our facility in the UK was built in about the 1970s, and it was built as a coal-burning power station. Well, it's become increasingly apparent that burning coal is not good for the climate. And the UK government have recognized this, society has recognized that. And the UK government is increasingly trying to withdraw from the burning of fossil fuels and coal. And our company has responded by replacing coal with compressed wood pellets.
Drax Group plc needed a steady supply, so they decided to seek out sources in the U.S. In August of 2011, Drax Biomass opened its domestic headquarters. Initially, it was in Boston before relocating to Atlanta in 2014. Extensive testing was done prior to selecting wood pellets as a fuel source, but efficient burn rates, combined with low carbon emissions, made the product an easy choice for the company.
So rather than using a fossil fuel where there's additional carbon being pumped into the air, by using a renewable fuel such as compressed wood pellets, we can stop that. And in fact, we show that when we calculate all of the savings associated with our activity, we do use some fossil fuels, of course, in the harvesting of the tree, in the transportation, even in some instances in the growing of the crop. We take all of that into account. When all that is taken into account at the power station, we make savings in excess of 80% in terms of carbon emissions compared to coal.
Following the decision to utilize pellets, 2 processing facilities went up in the fall of 2015. The Amite facility is located in Gloucester, Mississippi, and the Morehouse facility is located in rural northeastern Louisiana.
So the reason we produce pellets is for shipping efficiency. Ideally, you can get more into a hold, into a cargo container, into a van on a truck. All that you can get more tonnage through. It's more cost effective, it's more fuel efficient, it lowers the carbon footprint by having more density in the material that you're shipping. So for us, that's why we do the pellets, because the pellets have a higher density than, say, a natural wood does, or even chips or sawdust or anything like that.
After the pellet making process, the materials are sent by rail or truck to an export facility in Baton Rouge. There, up to 2 million metric tons of pellets can be exported annually. Along with the environmental benefits, the communities near the 2 pellet facilities have seen major returns to their local economies.
Locally, obviously, it brings in 60 direct jobs here at the facility. Usually we say that's a 3 times multiplier, so about 175 jobs, indirect jobs in the area. And then construction even more so because of all the construction personnel that were on site, close to 300 at one time during the construction process. So, it's definitely a shot in the arm to the community that we're in by operating here.
Since transitioning to pellets, the UK power plant now provides approximately 8% of the country's electric needs. Although the amount of power generated by burning wood pellets in the U.S. is relatively low, Black is optimistic about what the technology has to offer.
I think the domestic side is going to grow. It's up and coming. Obviously in Europe they're well established, and it's been something that they've done successfully for many years. I do believe that domestically here in the United States, we're going to see that market grow in the coming years.
And we should mention the pellet boom. It's not without controversy. Critics of using the pellets say it doesn't help the environment as much as companies like Drax, who you saw in that story, as much as they claim, and in the long run it could actually hurt forests.
Yes, and if you're interested in wood pellets, you got to do your research and make sure that it's right for you.
You most certainly do.